Hello, investors. This is Connor Bates, Associate Portfolio Manager with Revere Asset Management. Today is Tuesday, July 29th, 4:16 p.m. Eastern Time. Come to you with tonight's Revere Roundup Daily Market Insight video. Market state in an uptrend. If we take a look, trend gauge over here on the right side of the screen, market leader still in grow mode with the green arrow. Short term, we are trending above the 21 EMA. And after today's close, a historic 66 days above the 21-day moving average, which is huge. Medium term, still above the 50-day moving average and still have that yellow stoplight with the extension. And then long term, still above the 200-day moving average. What happened today? Just some, consolidations in the indexes today. Some of the high beta pulling back is evident with the Turbo 12 down 4.5%. Dollar was up again today. And overall, looks like the market might just be waiting. Got FOMC tomorrow, a lot of big tech earnings, and various other economic reports into the end of the week. Here are the final numbers. 21 over 21 list down 0.92%, 6 green, 15 red. Turbo 12 down 4.5%, all 12 red. So, that's a sign right there. And then 60/40 stock and bond flat on the day. Flagship portfolio GROTECTION down 0.65% and TurboTection down 1.32% on the day. Take a look at the inter-asset correlation. Start chart S&P 500 and pulling back a little bit today, still closed above the 8, still closed above the 21. For now, it looks fine. Take a look at the 60-minute and, just, gaps are starting to kind of get sold a little bit. So that's something to be aware of. You can see, although the stochastic starting to get pretty oversold, but again, keying in on this 821, the top of this base as potential levels. Obviously, with the FOMC meeting tomorrow, there likely will be some volatility. So just best to keep an open mind and watch how the market reacts to key levels. It's not always what they say. It's about how the market reacts. Is it going to be sell the news? And all those things factor into it. But for now, right, pulling back today, but looks totally normal. Nothing out of the ordinary. Kind of looks a little bit similar to this candle on the 15th, and then undercut it the following day and continued up. And I believe we're like the market's like 24 days without a 1% move, which again, that's another that's high. RSP consolidating run right under this 188.16 pivot looks good for a potential breakout. QQQ again, definitely gap and fade today, and could say it kind of looks similar to this candle right here as well. But still riding above these shorter term moving averages. And until those start to break, that's when we'd get more cautious. But for now, just holding up fine, pulling back is normal in an uptrend. Mag 7 kind of rejecting these 58.69 previous highs. Take a look. Dow Jones Industrial Average just pulling back, starting to form a little handle cup here after this big move up. Looks constructive. Mid caps just consolidating, holding above this 32 spot and got a little mini flag. Ross 2000 pulling back, see if the 21-day can support. But again, charts look constructive despite pulling back today. ARC. Now this one got hit a little bit harder today. As high beta got hit down 2.73% on the day, coming back into the 21-day. See if that holds. FFTY again, leaders with a bit of a bearish engulfing as well, rejecting this 34.26 pivot. The VIX popping back up 8% today. Was a 14 handle this morning and then shot back up, closing just under 16. If this starts to get over, 18, that could be some cause for concern. The dollar, definitely an important to monitor right now. Second close back above the 50-day moving average in months. So that is a huge change in character. I've talked about some other things, right? Positioning is extremely negative, the dollar, and when everyone's on one side of the boat, can shift to the other side. So watch the dollar for continued strength, and that could signal weakness in the market, small caps, especially high beta stocks. Gold was up again today, despite the dollar being up as well, rallying back into this cluster of moving averages. If it rejects, wouldn't be a bad short. GDX looks better than GLD. Kind of got a flag here. We'll see. Still in a big range. Silver sitting right at the 21 day. Bitcoin still consolidating. Overall looks instructive. See if you can break out through this downtrend line. Bonds shooting back up today nicely. TLT, same thing. Nice wedge pop here, and that coincides with the rates starting to break down. You can see pretty clean there, in the TNX as well. All right, that's the interasset correlation. And then let's take a look at the tail of the tape. Alrighty, we'll start. Percent of stocks, but the 5 day moving average are at 40 now, so that's starting to cool off. That's good to see. News-wise, FOMC is tomorrow, PCE on Thursday, and then Friday, the jobs reports, and then a ton of earnings this week. You got some of the big tech names, you got a lot of growth stocks reporting that we follow, some semiconductors. So overall, expecting a lot more volatility into the end of the week with all this stuff. And like we said, getting back into the thick of earnings season. So, and we already got some today, and I'll cover those, see how they reacted. But again, good to monitor. Keys, S&P closed back above the 8, below that 64.23 level. Q's above the 8, Russell below the 8 and 22.83 level, and then dollar continued strength. And going into tomorrow, going to be watching the same stuff along with the FOMC reaction and then some of the earnings after hours, what the big tech names are going to do. 26 days above the 8 EMA, 66 days above the 21 EMA. Again, getting long in the tooth and the power trend. Always being cautious, and yeah, could be setting a record here for consecutive closes above. Let's see. Sectors wise, real estate, natural gas, semiconductors, utilities, gold. It was a pretty quiet day. Nothing really stood out too much. Weakness, airlines, uranium, retail, industrials, biotech. Portfolio changes today. GROTECTION bought RBRK, did an offensive trim in SSO, and then sold Apple, AVAV, FCX, and Coin. That brings GROTECTION's RVAB to 1.14, 4.9% open heat. TurboTection added on to RBRK position this today, and then trimmed SSK and Coinbase 2.11 beta, 4.43% open heat, and the ATR, the S&P 500, has contracted all the way down to 0.67%. So continues to get quite low. Bottom line, indexes digest, dollar up, high beta pullback, and FOMC and earnings on deck. Let's get into the charts. So we'll start with trades. Both portfolios added onto RBRK. So, GROTECTION bought this today on the gap above the 50-day moving average, closed above. TurboTection had a position from this base on the morning gap above the 50-day moving average, added on to it. Pulled back in, but closed all right, up 2.42% on the day. GROTECTION also sold FCX, living below the 21. GROTECTION sold Coin, closing back below the 21. AVAV sold this one. It just trades a little bit too illiquid for GROTECTION. It was a minor gain. And then also GROTECTION sold Apple, no follow through and not getting any feedback. And then TurboTection, just RBRK, and then trimmed SSK. This is the Solana ETF. Just no follow through yet. And then also trimmed a little bit of Coin, closing below the 21. This one reports earnings as well this week. So that's going to be something that important to watch this week as well. All right, that was trades. Let's take a look at 21 over 21 list. So SoFi, this was another earnings gap this morning, and you can see pretty weak close. It gapped up. It was, off the open quite nicely and just all day fade. And that's one thing to keep on watch for. The best EPs, power earning gaps, it come from a period of neglect. And what that means is that people have forgotten the story. The stock could have been dormant for a couple years, or just trading in a big range, and then that earnings report comes out and Wall Street is completely caught off guard, and that's really where you get the best earnings gaps, and typically coincides with aftermarket pullback. So these are more failure prone when stocks are up 100% off the lows and then they're gapping on earnings 20%. There's just a higher probability to see a fade. And that's kind of what we saw on SoFi today. The earnings were great, but again, it's always about what's priced in, where's the market in the cycle, where's the stock at relative to the low. And it's a good example. So something to be aware of as we get into earnings seasons and something to think about. AMD, this stock is continues to be a beast, 5 days up in a row. So likely needs to pull back, but again, tons of strength here. CRDO, another one, 5 days up in a row after finding support at the 21, continues to be really strong leader. GDX, nice upside reversal off the 21 today. VST consolidating right under this 200 pivot, still looks great. ANET, 5 days up in a row into this 120 level would be nice. This could perhaps handle out here and flag. PWR pulling back to the 8 EMA after breaking out into new highs. CCJ starting to flag here, looking solid. NVIDIA, reversal day today, but again, still closing above the 8 EMA. Looks totally normal. AVAV flagging here. Again, mentioned liquidity concerns. Sold this and grow. Palantir tight at the highs. APH, bit of an outside reversal day, but again, still holding above the 8. Looks fine. Dash coming back into the 21. DKNG coming back into the 21 as well. Coinbase, closing below the 21. This reports in 2 days, so that'll be on watch. Maybe this is starting to form a handle. Huge monthly cut pattern on this one. GEV pulling back again as well. APP, all these moving averages are super, super tightly coiled. And this had a try to gap up and then outside reversal. HUD breaking the 8 EMA. Again, some of these names have just had huge moves off the lows. So some basis, some digestion would be totally normal. Reddit earnings in 2 days, sitting right at the 21, but has got a pretty clean trend line here, and it's been in a pretty tight range. ALAB pulling back to the 8 EMA, and then MP pulling back to the 8 EMA as well. That's the 21 over 21 list. Let's take a look at the Turbo 12. Every single name on this one was red today. And these are more high volatile, higher beta stocks. And when you see every name on this list red, that definitely could be a sign that some people are selling some of these risk on stocks and could be a sign to maybe be a little bit more patient, take some exposure down and, let the stocks guide you. TSSI breaking the 21, pretty big reversal here today. Galaxy again coming back to the top of this IPO. Again, pretty nasty down day, down 10%. SEDG breaking the 21 here. LEU pulling back as well. Maybe that perhaps this starts to flag out. Earnings in 7 days as well. SYM pulling back as well, potentially starts to form a new base or flag. KTOS pulling back again. Again, same thing. Many of these names could use a new base, some more consolidation, some more sideways. Sezzle sitting right at the 50-day. You could argue this is a bear flag as well. SMCI, two strong up days in a row, pulling back a little bit today. SSK, see if this can hold these higher lows. AS getting super tight right at the 21 and 50-day. This could be a potential breakout. VIK continuing higher, and then MIR continuing higher. Really nice trend here. And that's kind of, yeah, some more earnings. CLS, what a move. Up 16% on 338% above average volume. And this is a name that is extended, not really any neglect, and had a great earnings report, gapped up, closed near the highs of the day, back above that 200 Livermore level. And, that's good to see for a name like this. Cadence Designs also reported, right? Really nice gap up here out of a huge base. We're going to be watching this one. Again, the weekly looks fantastic, right? Like pretty textbook base on this one. You also had Corning, GLW, another really nice earnings gap. So again, on balance, the reaction from earnings today has been pretty good. I just showed some of the best acting ones today, closing at the highs, and that's good. Just even if it's extended, it could gap up, but again, can be more failure prone. It's just something to keep in the back of your mind. Rambus, this is another one really strong day, gapping out of the space as well. Closed the day up almost 14% on 282% above average volume. So always put these on your watch list and track them. In the podcast last week, I talked about different setups you can play, right? You can buy day one gap ups, you can buy the undercut of the gap day if that happens. You can buy high volume close reclaim. You can wait for a 60-minute stochastic. There's so many ways to skin the cat, but it is important to track these earnings. And that's what I do. That's what we do at Revere. I have all these in a watch list, and you just watch them moving forward. See if they offer setups or if they continue higher. If they start failing, that would be a negative sign for the market. But overall, there were some handful nice earnings gaps today, and we got a bunch later this week. So it should be interesting to see how they react, along with the FOMC interest rate decision tomorrow at 2 o'clock. And Powell's always on at 2:30. So that should be interesting. So yeah, indexes pulling back a little bit. Some high beta names getting hit today, but again, a lot of them have had some pretty great huge moves. So nothing out of the ordinary. Some things form new bases, some flags, some consolidation. In my view, would be constructive, and we're just going to take it day by day. So that is going to wrap it. As always, love to hear from you. My email is connor@revereasset.com, and you can always reach out to Dan or Don at revereasset.com. Phone is 855 Real Wealth, 855-732-5932. And if you're ever interested in becoming a client, as always, please reach out. We're accepting new clients for GROTECTION and TurboTection strategies. So thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, give the like, subscribe, comment, share. And with that, I will see you guys tomorrow.